don't you riff for a while? I'm gonna hit the restroom real quick.
No.
I'm Brad Jones here with Laura Luke Jones, and only one movie on the show tonight.
Thank God.
Do you like that much better than reviewing the 5 movies?
Yeah.
We could.
Especially when most of the time I didn't see them.
We have one. So you're saying reviewing 5 movies like when only I saw like the 5 movies, and I'm just describing them to you.
Why go pay to see a movie when you can have him explain the exact...
See, this is true. I do this anyway, regardless of, if you're in front of the video
No,
or
he
not.
does, actually. Like, whenever he gets home, he'll explain it, like, from beginning to finish.
Let
Almost.
me tell you about Dog's Journey. Okay, so it starts out Dennis Quaid is still crazy from The Intruder.
Well, there'll be times where I'm like, okay, honey, I'm sorry, but I don't care.
Look, baby, I'm really sorry. I just can't bring myself to care about a Medea family funeral. Not nearly as much as you. like I'm coming home and waking you up. Honey, let me tell you about my day. I need to tell you about the sun is also a star. Have you heard of this thing called the multiverse? I've learned so much.
From everything that I've heard that you told me about the movie, it seems like something I really would not like.
Which one? Sun is also a star, or
Yeah.
a Medea family funeral?
A son is also a star.
But Medea family funeral, you would totally just... That was why you wanted me to stop talking about it. You didn't want me to spoil it for
At least
you.
it doesn't sound pretentious.
Well, that I want to see.
What?
Terrence Malick's Medea movie. It's just shots of nature, and then sometimes Medea pops up. Oh, Lord, that's a bush. I would pay to see all 3 hours of that movie. All right, so like I said, we only got one movie to talk about here tonight, so let's go ahead and get the usual stuff out of the way. Please subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/stonedgremlin productions. Also follow us on Twitter to get updates on all the videos and everything. Follow us on Facebook as well at the Cinema Snob, and by all means too, submit to the super chat, and as usual, once the review is done, we'll go ahead and answer the super chat questions and read your messages as well. And we got one movie tonight. We had an early access screening of Booksmart, the directorial debut of Olivia Wilde, and that officially comes out next week, I believe. Next week is Aladdin, Booksmart, and Brightburn, maybe? Can't remember if Brightburn's next week or the week after. But if you want to check out the other recent reviews that we did that's public now, Ryan and I reviewed John Wick Chapter 3 last night, as well as A Dog's Journey, and The Sun is also a star, and as you said, I've reviewed all 3 of these movies to you as well. Plus, we do have our sale going on right now over on eBay, where we have autographed copies of our DVDs. This has really been helping us out with a lot of post-production stuff that we've got going on for another Cinema Snob movie. Our eBay name is Stoned Gremlin Productions, so search for our name on eBay, and you'll see autographed copies of our DVDs. I believe we're sold out of Jesus Bro, but we do have the first Cinema Snob movie, plus our recent uncut DVD, all 3 of our uncut DVDs. We have Unerotic Fantasies, Nudies, Rudies, and Crudies, plus we have Lloyd Season 1 on there as well, so give those a look. And so for right now, let's take a look at a clip of the trailer real quick for Booksmart, and we'll be back with the review.
We have to go to a party tonight.
What? What took them 4 years? We are doing it one night!
What is this?
We ask the questions!
I'm so glad for one super chat thing right there, because I was trying to remember one of the actresses' name from the movie. I know Beanie Fiddlestein. The other one, I was trying to think, what is her name? What is her name? And right there, like, oh, Caitlin Dever. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So this is the movie that is, I like high school movies like this, where it's one of those high school movie universes where high school is also kind of like The Purge, where like anything goes in this. Like, okay, like remember when I leaned over to you in the movie and I said like, okay, I've been out of high school for like 18 years. Is it anything like this nowadays? Where like it was the last day of school and they're on a skateboard using a fire extinguisher to go through the streets. There's practically a rave going on in the middle of the hallways.
Well, I didn't have a senior year. I graduated a year, and I only went to high school for 2 years because I
Mhm.
graduated, or 2.5 years. So I
'Cause you
mean,
graduated early.
yeah, a year
Yeah.
and a half early.
Mhm.
But I graduated in 2011, so who
Mhm.
knows? There's been a lot of things that have happened since then. So who? And also, I didn't go to like a really rich high school. Like everyone at this high school are pretty much rich or have rich families.
Yeah.
So maybe it's different there.
I like movies like that. Like, remember Screwballs? How it's just one of those high schools where, like, anything goes. If you want to, you can just, dress up as the school nurse and go in and, like, offer free exams. Because, it's Tuesday. You got nothing else to do. There's no other classes going on. it.
Oh,
Oh, did this happen at your high school?
No, no.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were having like a weird like Screwballs inspired.
Oh my God.
Oh, Screwballs inspired flashbacks. Or like there was the time I was laying on the beach and there was a guy laying underneath the sand. We gotta talk about that movie at some point.
Yeah, one time some guy was spying on me in my when I was changing clothes. That's normal, right?
Well, if you went to school in the 80s.
Oh, but it was funny.
Oh, no. See, this is what a lot of people forget. A lot of those, like, shenanigans school comedies back in the day. Your Screwballs, your School Spirit, your Porky's. Yeah, you think they're comedy. Those are actually documentaries. Those are award-nominated documentaries of the time, and they only since are looked upon as comedies. I really want to do a show where we talk about these movies.
Yeah.
I've still got them all on tape in the other room. But Booksmart is about two girls. They're about ready to graduate high school. It's Amy and Molly are our two leads. And as the title suggests, these are characters that have really excelled in their schoolwork over the years, to the point to where, like, their studies have really all been what they're doing, is working towards getting into a good school, working towards their career, working towards their reputation and everything, and never really were interested in anything like any kind of social gatherings or any party or anything like that. And there's a cool scene in the movie where this character of Molly is in the bathroom and overhears a few of the students talking about her in the bathroom, about how, much she's got to stick up the ass, how much she's
really straight-laced,
a bit of a bummer, a wet blanket and everything, and she comes out of the bathroom and tries rubbing it in their face that she's gotten into a great school and they will most likely peak, and they will most likely have peaked in high school and go on to nothing. But as it turns out, all these characters that she has looked down upon over the years actually are also getting into great schools. The partier girl who said, like,
she's going to Yale too.
Yeah, and the one, like, the crazy drugged out party girl in the movie says, well, I'm kind of sad. I got into my fifth choice. I got into Harvard. The dumb stoner guy who says, like, oh, he just got a job at Google and next year is going to be making like 6 figures a year and everything.
See, that's why I was saying, like, the difference between, like, because I went to a high school where, yeah, it was kind of a rich area, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
This place, it's obviously maybe their parents might have bought them into getting into
Oh,
these universities.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference between, like, yeah, like, a lot of people, I didn't really party in high school, but people I know that did party in high school, they're still where hanging around the same area, doing the same things. And that's because they didn't have their parents probably pay for them to get into Yale or, like, these really prestigious schools.
I related a lot to one of the teachers in the movie, who later in the film talks about how she also didn't do a lot of partying in high school, but did a lot in their 20s. That was kind of me. Like, in high school...
Oh, where you just cram it into your 20s?
Into my 20s.
Yeah.
Hardcore, between alcohol, drugs, partying, all that. Whereas in high school, I wasn't like the two leads in this movie, where I was just all about my studies and nothing else, because I was an average student in high school. but I would always, hang out with me, Dave, and the group. We would all hang out together in high school and everything. But mostly just kind of like maybe get high a little bit and watch movies. Not so much the big like party thing. In my 20s, yeah, man, my 20s aged me so hardcore. There's half of my 20s I really don't remember all of that much. Like as much as I rag on the 2000s, I'm like, well, really, I only remember like half of those years. Maybe the half that I don't remember was totally fine.
I liked the 2000s, but I'm more nostalgic than you are.
Yeah, I mean, I was in high school in the 90s,
But,
so...
yeah, I get what you're saying, though. Like, yeah, I guess it's healthy, though, to, like, party a little bit in high school.
Sure.
But, like, in a responsible way. But...
That's not partying.
Well...
That's like staying up till 9 and having some Starburst and a Mountain Dew.
Oh my... No, it's not. But it is a good message there. Like,
Yeah.
You can't always just be concentrated on something like that. I mean, that's
Sure.
how I feel, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's high school, you're gonna party. Like, maybe it won't go to the extreme as, like, weird science and everything's flying out the chimney. But if it does, that means you found a really good party. So, but because they've found out that these kids who, unlike them, kind of cut loose through high school, they sort of regret not necessarily doing the same, so they try cramming in about 4 years worth of partying into a night. The movie's a lot like Superbad.
It is.
It is
Down to even Jonah Hill's sisters in this.
Yeah, she's one of the leads. And it is a lot like that, where like Superbad, this movie is also largely takes place in a night and has the two main characters seeking out a particular party and then finding other shenanigans and other lesser parties along the way. They're very, very, very similar. They are.
I like movies that take place in one night.
Yeah.
I really like those kind of movies. I think it's like Superbad. I like when it's just all in one night. They have one final destination they want to get to, and they end up finding themselves. And it's all about friendship. I like that kind of stuff, and especially because this movie has two young women in it, and so that's really relatable for me. A lot of this movie is really about friendship. Obviously, like you can already get that from the trailer, but just movies that have just like female friendships are really important to me.
So you would say you related more to this than Superbad?
Superbad, I like Superbad more. It's more quotable.
It is.
And yeah, like I wasn't nerdy in high school, but
yeah.
I mean, so I don't really have that to relate to in this movie, but I had friends in high school where you have nights where you guys fight, you have stupid drunk things happen, but at the end of the day, like, friends is what matters the most. And
yeah,
so
I mean,
like
it's one of those, because they're about to graduate. They're graduating the day after this movie is taking place, when all of these parties are happening. So they are getting in a lot of last minute things necessarily, one of which is they are going to be apart for a while after this. They get in this kind of last fight that they have, where they've held in a lot of things over the years that they've maybe not necessarily said to each other because they are best friends, and then it all kind of explodes at one point.
yeah, that's a really good scene.
Yeah, and she one has a crush on another girl in the school, and Molly has the crush on her like student council vice president, who is kind of a big party or frat boy guy.
Yeah.
There are side characters in this movie that I like a lot.
Like the girl that shows up like throughout the movie.
That's Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Oh, that's her daughter.
Billy Lord,
I was looking her up and I was like, where's she from? And she was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
No, yeah, she steals every scene that she's in. There's this crazy party girl in the movie who's just drugged out and insane through the whole film and keeps showing up at every single party that they end up going to, almost magically showing up. There's scenes where they flat out just think she's dead. Like, she'll fall face first and belly flop into a thing of water.
And then she'll show up like her hair's completely dry.
Yeah,
Like,
how did you even get dry? Well, last we saw you, you jumped off of a boat. They end up at these lesser parties at one point. One is like this murder party dinner theater thing going on with the theater group in high school. Another is Billy Lord and is it her brother in the film?
yeah, I think so.
Who have like chartered this yacht for this party, and you kind of made this comment where you said like, okay, like I know this character in the movie is unpopular, but at the same time, this is a party I would think everyone would go to.
Yeah, I would go to like parties where no one likes the host of the party, but they at the end of the day they have a house that has no parents there and there's alcohol.
And in this kid's
everyone's
case,
gonna go.
Professionally catered with a boat
Yeah.
and like this disco inside of it and everything.
And like alcohol, drugs, everything. It's like, yeah, I think kids will go to this.
Yeah, it's like the Simpsons episode where Martin was briefly popular
Oh,
because he
yeah.
had the better swimming pool in the neighborhood. And yeah, I did enjoy this movie. It's like you said, I liked Superbad better, but at the same time, I realize I'm gonna relate a little more to a movie like Superbad. Superbad is a movie that it's written by a couple guys who are around my age, so but I also found that to be, but I did find that to be a funnier movie and a more quotable movie. But I did like this one.
When we got out of the movie, I was like, I don't know how much Brad will like this, because it is very, I mean, it's coming of age, very millennial movie.
Well, yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't know how much you'll, because I know sometimes those things might be hard for you to like get into, like, because
to identify with.
Yeah, because I really like Broad City, and I get it's very millennial and very like over the top, and so I was like, I don't know how much he's gonna like this.
Well, I realize that I'm not the target demographic for a movie like this, but at the same time, I mean, if you go into a movie like this and you're upset that it's about the generation that it should be about, these people who are graduating high school in 2019, then I don't know why you would go to a movie like this in the first place. But even though, like, yeah, a lot of this is a kind of movie that I've seen a lot of before, whether it is something like Superbad or whether it's something like Dazed and Confused, or even back in the 70s with American Graffiti.
That's what I haven't seen.
Oh, it's a great film. So yeah, there's always a kind of movie like this for every generation.
Yeah.
And while I can sit there and watch this and be like, and sit there feeling old because I'm like, oh my god, these characters were born the year I graduated. So
We were talking, like, I was like, I don't think these kids ever experienced 9/11.
well,
sorry.
they're gonna be really confused then when they're
I
on
just
the
made this really dark.
when they're on the that's not worse than what that guy on the train did, and Sun is also a star.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what they needed. They needed a character my age or older to just randomly pop in the movie and just go, hey, 9/11, bro, and then just leave.
Oh, God.
Like, it's not, you know, like, the themes that the movie has in it, again, between the two girls' friendship and the fact that they're going to be apart from each other quite a while after they graduate, yeah, that's been done a lot before, but the movie still does it well. I didn't think it was, like, I thought it was consistently entertaining, and I did like the characters, especially the side characters in the movie. I laughed way more during something like Superbad. This I got some good laughs at. I wasn't consistently laughing out loud throughout it.
There is a difference between the two. This is a coming-of-age movie, whereas, like, Superbad is, like...
I would say that is, too. It's raunchier.
I would say, yeah, like, that's raunchier. It's also like a Judd Apatow movie, whereas it's kind of something like Girls.
Sure.
You know? Like, it's a little more subtle, you know, and whereas Superbad, I think it's, like, raunchier. It's more...
I mean, that makes sense, because the two characters, I mean, especially the Jonah Hill character, is a raunchier character, where in this, there's like plenty of R-rated moments in it. Like there's a lot. There's plenty of drug humor in this movie too.
Yeah,
like,
but she's not like ending up drawing vaginas in her notebook and
no,
getting caught
no.
with it. You know,
I mean, but you would expect that more out of characters like the two characters in Superbad versus.
I think it's just
It would be weird. It'd be out of place if the characters in this movie were doing that.
boys are just gross.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it. Like high school boys versus these two. But I mean, there's still some like raunchy stuff in it. I mean, there's a sex scene in the movie where a girl gets vomited on.
That's like the only gross out thing I think that happens in this.
Probably.
But it wasn't like played for laughs. I think it was more like something that could be relatable. Like that's never happened to me, but like where you are having like a first time experience with someone.
Yeah.
She accidentally drinks. I think it was like an ashtray, like a water.
Is that what it was?
Because she pulled out something, and I think that was like a cigarette butt.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong, but she was drinking something, and yeah, like I could see that being a horror story for someone that's like.
And that's true.
Yeah, but it wasn't played for laughs. It was just more like a horror story that could happen to someone, like the most awkward thing that could possibly happen.
That's different than like off the top of my head, like. Van Wilder, they're putting dog semen inside of some scones or some shit, you know, like yeah.
God,
another coming of age classic. That's true. I mean, it's played differently certainly than like a something that would be a bit more gross out for shock value.
Yeah, like if she was like throwing up all over the place
it
and
was,
into
it was
her
like Team America.
She was like going down on her, like threw up into her vagina or something. Like I think that would be played. Why does that happen to you before?
Oh, all the time.
It happened last night.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that, by the way.
Ew.
I need to apologize to Lloyd too. Some got on him.
Why is he involved?
Well, he sleeps on the bed too. He gets very annoyed with us sometimes. Hey, I'm sorry, buddy.
Why are you saying sorry to him?
Oh, I got you flowers. I only threw up on half of them. Here's 6 roses.
Just into my vagina. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh God. I'm a monster.
See, that's what it would be like if it was a boys movie. Like it's like into his. He was like did it and like that there's a difference.
Everyone remembers that classic scene from American Graffiti where Richard Dreyfuss just pukes all over Harrison Ford.
While going down on him.
Oh, well, if that's the version you want to see, I'm sure I could probably find it on the internet somewhere. I mean, it also, like, one thing about it, too, is there's times where, like, they might be timid about some things, but then do something else that would take wildly bigger balls than the things that they were timid about. Like the part where they needed the address from the pizza guy, so they put their hair over their face. Funny. Don't get me wrong, the scene worked because the dude playing the pizza man was pretty funny, but going from we're kind of nervous about doing this one thing to sneaking into this guy's car and kind of acting like they're robbing him, sort of like that was kind of a 0 to 10 moment a little bit on how daring they're gonna be. But I mean that it paid off to a point because that guy was kind of funny, and even that character towards the end of the movie has a pretty good payoff. But I mean,
I can see that. Yeah.
It was one of those situations where it was like, okay, really, like. All you really had to do was maybe ask in this scenario.
What were they trying to get from him?
They were trying to get the address to where he delivered 15 pizzas to.
Well, he wasn't going to give it to them, though.
Knowing this character and what we later find out
they didn't
about
know
him. That. Yeah, I mean, sure, but the setup of it was kind of like, okay, like you've got what from 0 to 10 in the daring scale a little bit, but it was funny, some of the things he was saying about them getting into a car with a stranger and he had a gun in the glove compartment. But other than that, though, it was an entertaining movie. It certainly didn't overstay its welcome. And for a directorial debut for Olivia Wilde.
Yeah. She, if I ever tried making a movie directing, it would look like hot garbage, but
Mine would look just like this. Look at all my movies. They look
Okay.
exactly like this film.
So yeah, it was a good looking movie, and yeah, I think for young women, like especially younger than me, I think would really benefit from watching it. Just especially like there's a scene where I think the girl's called AAA, like the girl that like is called like a slut or something, and Molly, is that Jonah Hill's sisters?
Yeah.
Okay, Molly, she's like, I wouldn't say she's slut shaming her, but she is kind of like saying like, oh, your name's AAA because you give blowjobs to guys like on the street or something. I forgot why, but they kind of have like a moment where they just sit and talk to each other, and she's like, I am smart, like I do well academically, but I also happen to like giving hand jobs, like
Yeah, sure.
it's like you can be both things. So I like that.
It humanizes a lot of characters in this movie. People who would start out, you would think they'd maybe just be like a two-dimensional mean character. And they really do give a third dimension to a lot of them, including the teachers. How, we find out that their principal, Jason Sudeikis, is also this Uber driver. And the cool teacher in the school who relates to them a bit about, again, like I said earlier, how she got a lot of partying in her 20s and maybe kind of overdid it a little bit. Like there's really good stuff like that in the movie. It's a movie I liked a lot. I didn't love it necessarily, but there are a lot of young people who will really relate to this movie. It's a well done flick. There's things that do similar stuff that this movie does that I enjoyed better, but no, I wasn't sitting there going like, well, I've seen this territory before. Like, no, it was a fine movie.
Sometimes I don't like how like Rotten Tomatoes will give like 100% on something, and then I'm like going in there like it gives me like these unrealistic expectations sometimes.
Well, with Rotten Tomatoes, it's how you look at it, because like if you want a better grasp about what a critical consensus is, the tomato meter is not a good gauge of that. Like the average rating that critics give, that's more of a realistic gauge, because you could have 100% of critics saying that the movie is a 3 out of 4 star movie, and then it still says 100%, which gives the idea that everyone's giving it 4 stars. Well, that's not necessarily the case. I don't know if that's the case with this movie, but same with when you get on the lower end of thing. It could be a bunch of critics that say like, oh, it's just slightly less than mediocre, but that might read 4 or 5%. If you look at what the average rating is and it says like 2.2 out of 10, then maybe it's like, okay, there might be some problems with this movie.
Yeah. Same
Metacritic
with, like,
is kind of a better grasp.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say it's still really good. I think it's, if you're a young woman especially, I would say definitely check it out.
Yeah. Do you want to get to the super chat questions?
No.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and call it quits right now, and we'll be talking to you guys later. No, I'm kidding. Like, we got plenty. Thank you so much, everyone, for the super chat questions. We're gonna get to these right now and answer your questions that you sent us. Future movie actor, thank you so much for all the help that you give us. I have nostalgia for Good Burger, so it passes. Do you have nostalgia for Good Burger?
No, I didn't really grow up with that one. No, I didn't really watch it. I remember it being really, really popular, but I didn't watch it. I don't think that came to me.
I want to say all that started around when I was kind of growing out of Nickelodeon. So I knew what all that was, and also Kenan and Kel, but I didn't watch a lot of it.
Kenan and Kel I have a big nostalgia for, especially Two Heads Are Better Than One movie. Like, it's like kind of like a not horror movie, but it's like
they did a horror film?
I mean, it's like supposed to be scary, but it's like a Nickelodeon scary movie. That one's really good. If everyone's not seen it and you have nostalgia for Kenan and Kel, I would say check it out. It's really funny.
I've seen 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag.
Is that a movie?
Yeah. Oh, that movie's great. It's Joe Pesci has to deliver 8 severed heads in a duffel bag to a mob boss, but then it gets lost at the airport. The bags get switched at the airport, so he has to find his 8 missing heads.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome. David Spade's in it. Future movie actor again. You should totally binge watch The Middle or Last Man Standing. The Middle's one of my all-time favorite romantic arcs. Neither of those I've seen. I know what the shows are. Neither one of them I've seen. If The Big Bang Theory video does well. I'll do more of these certainly. I would do Home Improvement. If the Big Bang Theory one does well, I'd like to do Sex in the City.
Yeah, thank God.
That would probably be the next one I would do, provided enough people watch the.
I've had to sit through Big Bang Theory. Like
Well,
I
you get
missed
mentioned
like maybe.
a lot in that video.
Oh, I do. Well,
Yeah.
I missed like maybe 2 seasons where
Yeah.
I was like walking in and out of them, and so I would really be happy if we could do a
If you
show
wanna
I
like-
really like.
A show you might like a little bit better.
Well, I've already seen Sex in the City like 10
That's what you're gonna
times.
say. I've already seen Big Bang Theory multiple times. Future movie actor. Blockers almost made my best of year last year, but didn't. Familiar story, but done in a very empowering and new age way that made it stand out. Yeah, I liked that movie. I like Blockers. It didn't make my best list by any means, but yeah, a lot of these movies like that, they all have similar themes to them that other movies might do, but it's all about still doing it entertainingly, making it feel fresh and done in a way that doesn't make you feel like you've seen it many times before. And yeah, I did enjoy Blockers. Though this one's for you, honey. Laura, it's surprising that you kind of liked Infinity War but didn't like Endgame. To me, Infinity War was totally great and Endgame was excellent.
How do you guys know that?
That you didn't like Infinity or Endgame? Because that was all Gino and I talked about in our review.
I don't know. I guess, I'm sure it's a fine movie if you've seen all the Marvel movies, but I
Yeah.
haven't.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen Ant-Man, Iron Man. What else did I see?
You saw... Man, I don't know. You've really only seen a few of them, haven't you?
I've seen Avengers.
Did you see
I didn't-
Guardians?
I saw some of it. I saw the first Avengers movie when that came out. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. It's not for me. I'm sorry.
I'll show you the Rafe Fiennes Avengers. You might like that one better.
What?
I mean, it's based on the old 60s TV series, but it's not a Marvel thing. It's also not very good, but I know you're a big Rafe Fiennes fan.
If anyone doesn't know already, I have a huge thing for Ray Fiennes.
So you would probably prefer that one based solely on the fact that Ray Fiennes is in it. No, I mentioned in our review, me and Gino's review, that it was funny that you weren't the audience for this movie, and it was funny due to the fact that you were sitting next to the most annoying person in the theater. One of those guys shouting characters up at the screen. Wow! Oh my gosh! I didn't
Oh,
see
shit.
this coming! Oh snap!
Infinity War, I just thought was like the thing about Endgame I didn't like was just the humor. I didn't think was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing like, oh, Thor's fat now. That's funny. And it's like, okay.
I liked the movie a lot, but there was some things about it that I
You
didn't.
thought it was okay.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
You
I
didn't like it a lot. You thought
No,
it
I
was
did.
fine.
No, I said more than I thought it was just fine. Like, no, I enjoyed the movie. Some of the criticisms I had towards it were some things you did, the Thor stuff, for instance, some of the Hulk stuff. But
Yeah.
overall, I enjoyed the movie. Didn't love it. It was no.
Citizen King.
No, it was no Gotti.
There's no Gotti. Yeah, I like Gotti more. I'm sorry, guys. Everyone's gonna hate me now.
Somebody put that quote on a poster for Gotti. Even better than Avengers Endgame, Laura Luke Jones of thecinemasnob.com.
No, everyone's gonna hate me.
I wish someone could find this picture because I've tried finding it and I don't know if it was taken down. But there was a guy, this super fan of Infinity War, who went to go see Infinity War like 51 times or something like that. And there was a picture of him in front of this marquee that said Infinity War. Someone took that picture and put Gotti over it. And it said, Superfan sees Gotti record number 51 times. I tried finding it again for when I did the Gotti review. But I was like, oh man, that cracked me up so hard.
That
Like, I
is
wish
funny.
this was a true story. But, sorry.
I was just saying I could talk more about
About Gotti?
No, about Endgame, but I won't.
Luck Desad says, This donation is for the Dear John reference in the Gotti review.
Oh.
I love everyone who got the Dear John reference. Dear John was this sitcom from...
Oh, I was thinking of the movie.
No. The Judd Hirsch sitcom. This was a show that I watched when it was on, and it never gets rerun. I think for like rights reasons or something, but it doesn't get rerun. I don't even know if it got a DVD release, but it was a show with Judd Hirsch that ran from about 88 to 92, I think, where he plays a guy whose wife leaves him and leaves him a Dear John letter. It works out because his name is John. And it's about him being in this group therapy session for people who are divorced or widowed or things like that. And I watched it when I was a kid with my mom, so I'm like, I'm gonna put this Dear John reference in here, and the people who get the Dear John reference, those are my favorite fans. So thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Okay, let's see. Whoa, thank you so much, everyone, for the donations. Future movie actor Brad, you should also do binge watches of Game of Thrones and Stranger Things. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Those would probably be pretty fun to do.
I'd like to watch Game of Thrones. I've never seen it.
I've seen the first few seasons, and I enjoyed it. I just fell out of it, like for no reason really. It was just got distracted doing other things. Honestly, Tubi and 323. What did you think of the remake of Suspiria? I thought it was fine. Yeah, I watched that not too long ago actually. I didn't like it as much as the Argento one. I like the music and the style better in the Argento movie. But no, it was a solid horror remake. It never came to theaters here in Springfield. That's why there wasn't a review for it. But I did finally watch it not too long ago. It's worth checking out. It's totally a solid movie to be watching at home. Xamuka X. Sorry, some of these names I might pronounce. Hey guys, have you ever seen Ice Pirates? A long time ago, I saw Ice Pirates.
I've never heard of that.
I love it, and I would want you to hear your thoughts on it, and possibly a snob review. You know what? Yeah, I'll write that one down for it. Yeah, I would talk about Ice Pirates. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. Future movie actor. You skipped a couple of my... Oh, sorry. You skipped a couple of my questions. The Jurassic World and Caitlin Dever ones. I'm sure it was by accident. No, it was on purpose. I refuse to talk about that stuff.
It's really triggering for him.
Laura, I know Brad said that you didn't like Fallen Kingdom, but did you like Jurassic World? Please give your quick thoughts on both.
I didn't like Fallen Kingdom, but I actually really, really like Jurassic World. You don't like it.
No, I see why. I get why people do.
I didn't think I was going to like it when it came out. Like, Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies, and so when I saw that they were doing a remake, and I'm so sick of this remake bullshit, because sometimes it's just like obviously a cash grab and there's not a lot of ambition there. But with this one, I was like, okay, no, this is actually a lot of fun. It felt like a B movie, like a B monster film movie. Mm-hmm. And I actually had a lot of fun with it. And I didn't realize I had a thing for Chris Pratt until that movie.
I didn't know I had a thing for raptors till I saw it.
Well, I don't really have a thing for Chris Pratt. Like, okay, my sister had a thing for Chris Pratt after that movie came out. And I'm not really into beefcakes. And so...
Obviously.
But then I started watching Parks and Rec, and I was like, he's really funny. And so then I really got into Chris Pratt. But now I think he's kind of crazy and weird. But because I guess he's like on some sort of God Bible diet right now.
And, I don't know. I mean...
But, yeah, so...
Whatever. I mean, he's a good actor. I like his... I wasn't a Jurassic World fan, but... people who like it, it's fine. Like what you're saying about it, like, you know, this is a fun B movie and everything. It's like, what am I gonna say? Like, no, you didn't have fun at it. Like,
no, I thought it was a lot of fun. I really liked that movie.
It was better than Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, Fallen Kingdom was a pile of shit. That was so stupid. The military is gonna create these weapons using dinosaurs.
Well, they tried doing that in all of them.
Wait, they did that in the first one too, didn't they?
They did it.
But this one they were like
World.
having like an auction, like with these dinosaurs and stuff, and it was so stupid.
It was lame.
And then they just release all the dinosaurs. Like, the trailer was so misleading too, because it looked like all the dinosaurs were actually like out in the world because they were showing like tidal waves with like a dinosaur in the water and stuff, and but that was like the last 2 minutes of the movie.
That's what the next movie's gonna be, I'm sure, because I'm sure they're gonna do another one. Future movie actor Caitlin Devers from Last Man Standing. She's very talented. I hope she gets more work. This movie may help with that. Yeah, she was very good in this movie.
Yeah,
the acting was incredibly solid. Beanie Fiddlestein, I think it's, or Fieldstein.
Fiddlestein.
I've liked her in most things I've seen. She was really good in Lady Bird. She's turned in some really good performances.
She was in Lady Bird?
Yeah, she was the friend in the movie.
The friend.
She was the friend. I think it was Lady Bird. She was in one of those movies like Lady Bird, if it wasn't that one. Like, I don't know, Edge of 17 or 8th grade, one of those. I think it was Lady Bird. Sorry, I accidentally missed your questions there. Let's scroll down here. Okay.
I think that's
Future
it.
movie actor again. If you got to them before the last message, never mind. No, we got to them. I'm sorry about that. I just accidentally skipped over them. But no, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Let me go ahead and throw up our. Let me go ahead and throw up. With it cutting to this, I could make puke sound effects right now. Please subscribe to us at youtube.com/Stone Gremlin Productions. Follow us on Twitter at The Cinema Snob, and follow us on Instagram as well at The Cinema Snob. And we'll see you next week. We're going to have reviews for Aladdin, I believe, comes out next week. So we're going to have reviews for Aladdin, and I can't remember if Brightburn's next week or the week after. So thanks a million, everyone in the chat, for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.